guess I'll be going next here with the what is it, unnamed memory. I had choice between this and Bartender Glass of God, which was like a remake of the older, I think 2006 series of similar name.
Did you
But
watch Bartender?
yeah, I
How
did. It was
how
not
how
good.
was the bartending, the actual bartending? Was it
I
bad?
mean, there was like a lot of trivia, and it was like nice. Well, like the trivia part was nice, but just everything around it was just terrible, or not terrible, but it was just, like I don't want to watch this sort of series. That I
Is there a
and I
training
say
arc
this as
with
a
a
person.
hard with one of those hard plastic like weighted bottles?
Yeah, exactly. It's like turning arc with
Yeah,
all the
turning it,
bartenders, like with
learning
a
how to
barista competition.
spin, like spin shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
But Spy,
there's
I
this like
heard you learned about a lot about Suntory whiskey in Bartender
yeah.
Glass of God.
There's like they go through all like the brands and stuff like that, but the issue is it's like inside the series, it's just so stupid. They're because it's supposed to be an anime about it, they keep doing stuff like, oh, the way the bartender moves his fingers is so sexy. It's like, bro, shut just tell me the freaking bartender
Things
trivia. Stop.
things human beings say.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Things
The way
actual real people say.
the way the bartender pours my drink makes me cum.
Yeah, that
Was
is literally, like,
It's like,
almost
dude,
how
like
the like, one of the characters phrases. It's like,
drink your
no,
fucking
like, I
drink,
don't
bro. Calm down.
yeah, it's like,
was
you would know how to make this cocktail if you're a real bartender." It's like, like, just okay, I don't need this. Just tell me the trivia, bro.
but Spire, that's the good part.
Yeah.
No,
So
where's it, the
stupid.
bartender tournament or whatever?
Yeah, like, it's like the barista competition, but, like, with bartenders.
That'd
But
be
yeah.
great, but there was none.
Yeah,
That's a
I don't think
shame.
there was. But anyways, I did not cover that. Covered Unnamed Memory instead, and this was light novel original by Furumiya Kuji with illustrations by Chibi. It also got made into a manga and anime adaptation. So Furumiya Kuji did I think this. He did A Pale Moon Reverie, right? Or he did Babel after this, which is like a sequel to Unnamed Memory. And he's currently working on, I think, A Pale Moon Reverie, which is another light novel. It's probably has like similar elements to this or whatever. But anyways,
This is also
um,
Shosetsu from 2012.
yeah,
So
it's
is this
pretty.
an isekai?
It is not an isekai, but I would almost rather watch an isekai than this. But that's I'll cover that later.
That good, huh?
Uh, yeah, the anime production is done by Engi, who's their some of their works is The Detective is Already Dead, Full Dive, Conquest Season 2, Kemono Michi, Management of a Novice Alchemist, and Uzaki-chan. So, what this team is essentially the director Miura Kazuya, who has worked with Engi with stuff like again Kemono Michi, Kankole 2, Full Dive, Uzaki-chan. I think and he was animation supervisor for The Detective is Already Dead. So he's pretty much full time Engi, and he kind of collected his. He's working with his series composition slash scriptwriter from The Detective is Already Dead, who is known as Akao Deko, as well as some others from like Engi that has worked with him for like Kemono Michi and like Conquest Season 2, stuff like that. And plus some third parties from outside. So that's sort of his like ragtag team here. Um, the voice acting cast is a pretty solid lineup. Again, pretty much all like known A-listers that you guys have seen, mostly have seen before. Kanasaki Atsumi as Tinasha, Nakajima Yoshiki as Oscar. If you don't know who Nakajima Yoshiki is, he's done pretty much like he in almost all like the recent like male idol anime stuff. I think he's had a role in pretty much all these of those series, so he's had a lot of those sorts of roles. Uh, Obviously, a lot of other famous seiyuu out there in here as well. Kaosumi Ayako, Akasaki Chinatsu, Morinaga Chitose, Saito Chiwa, Fukuyama Jun, what did it say? Sonozaki Mie, Umeda Shuichiro. Let's see this Kaji Yuki, Kusunoki Tomori, stuff like that. So just going down the list, a lot of good names here. However, I will make a note: the voice direction and the voice acting is kind of awkward and stilted in a lot of these scenes. So I don't know what happened with Imaizumi Yuichi in this one, who is the sound director. Um, but I think he was a little bit maybe a little bit off kilter in this series. I wasn't The voice acting in this one was very, very, very like, oh, like, is this like a home recording? Like, what are they doing? Kind of thing. So a little bit awkward, unfortunate. OPED is the opening is Yobigoe by Te, and the ending is Blanc by Arika. So the OP is like a more slower paced ballad, like evokes kind of feudal medieval themery with female vocal. Pretty standard Anna song otherwise. The composition is okay, but I would say the attention to the vocals are the hit of the opening. Overall it's kind of whatever, but I did again like the vocal quality of it. The ED is pretty nondescript as is, so it's kind of whatever. Audio visuals real quick here. I want to say, and I don't know, the visuals are slightly better than I expected for the most part from Engi. That doesn't mean that they were great. It means that they were above what I expected from that studio. The still frame character models are good, like the character design and stuff like that. But the moments outside of anything that wasn't the action scenes are very awkwardly animated at times, like the kissing, like hugging, like putting like the animals doing whatever stuff like that. And it kind of seems like at first they put all their money into animating the battle scenes, but even those anime scenes, um, while they do have like a lot of frames and they have like a lot of the spells shooting out and the movement and stuff like that, stuff like the spell animation and explosions are done okay, but they and like splashes or like bam, like specific effects. But in terms of like when they had to show extreme movement, right? Like somebody swooping under a monster's belly or sword choreo, stuff like that. Uh that was not very well animated. And it's a little bit weird because you guys spent all of your money and effort into animating these action scenes, but these action scenes are also not very good. It's like, okay, like what are you guys doing here? So it was a little bit unfortunate at times, I think. The OST and the BGM was also pretty nondescript, so yeah, I'm gonna kind of skip over that. Story real quick here. So unnamed memories. Let's see this here. Read this off. Oscar, the crown prince of the powerful country of Phalsus, is under a curse that prevents him from having descendants. This curse will kill any woman who bear his child. Climbing the tower where the witch of the Azure Moon resides and completing her trial, uh, after climbing the tower where the witch of the Azure Moon resides, and after completing her trial, Oscar wishes that his curse be lifted. The witch, Tanasha, confesses that it is almost impossible to break the curse, but provides an alternative: to take a woman with great magical power that the curse is unable to kill. Oh, to take as a wife a woman with great magical power that the curse is unable to kill. Jesus Christ, who writes
What kind of
these
curse is it?
summaries?
Is it like a? Is it like this? Is it like an Oreshika curse, or what are we talking about?
It is no, it's like
Or is it like
they
Beauty
don't
and the
really
Beast?
explain it.
Is it like a?
No, no,
Oh,
no, no, no. It's like they don't really explain it that much. They don't do a lot of like,
how did he
oh,
get the
it made
curse? Is
sense.
what I'm asking.
He got the curse from his father doing some fucking weird shit, and then his father and the son, who is now Oscar, the crown prince, both got cursed essentially. Um, so
By like an old lady who tried to like, oh, will you please
no,
help
the
this
the
poor
the
old
witch is
lady? No.
young. I think all the witches are like
But
immortal or something like that.
then what happens with the heir? Hmm?
Like
Won't
Beauty
the
and the
heir
Beast
just
Yeah.
be
and all.
cursed? Won't the heir just also be cursed and not be able to
Yeah,
continue the bloodline?
that's what I'm thinking.
And
And
then
they
the
don't
heir is gonna have to find another
really
person who's really magical.
yeah. The author doesn't, how do I say this? Explain the lore of the world very well, and this, I might cover this a little bit later, is a recurring pattern within
So,
the story.
Maybe
so
the
it's not
original witch
as
was like, yeah, and guess what, buddy? Now you can only take a witch as your wife, and she was hitting on him. Hmm?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
What do
that
you
was
think of that?
maybe.
Yeah, but
So it's not like a small penis curse type situation. No.
no, it's like
Huh?
she
Don't you remember,
like
Near? Can I cast a
Yeah,
curse?
What?
the
What?
what?
Can I? Near, don't you remember? Can I cast a curse on you? It's like no, no, don't cast a curse on me.
That's
I'm
a
drawing a.
that's an old Germa bit.
Oh, right,
Oh my
right,
Where
right,
god.
someone
right.
casts the small penis hex on him.
But yeah, this is so after that, after after Tanasha's suggestion that Oscar take as his wife, like a woman with like great magical power, so the curse, won't kill the wife. Um, Oscar suggests Tanasha herself become his wife instead. She refuses, but agrees to accept Oscar's request to descend her tower and live in Falsus with him for a year as his protector. So it's like Oscar is like the very kind, crown prince. Like he's stoic. He speaks in a very stoic manner, and he looks very stoic. And he's the stoic of the stoic man, but he's like all very nice protagonists. Blah blah. And Tanasha is like the witch that has lived for hundreds of years and has great magical power, but looks like a young girl because immortal and all that crap. And then all this other stuff, the usual like,
Oh,
oh,
how
they're
young?
witches and
How young?
um, a teen, a 16-year-old. It says 16-year-old girl. Looks like a
That
16-year-old girl.
so
Yeah.
so not like 8 or 11. So she's in the clear in
Yes.
terms of
Yeah. I
in
don't.
terms
Well,
of
I don't know about that.
hierarchy.
What do you
uh,
mean by that?
yeah. I don't know
You
about
know
that.
how it's usually in these fantasy situations is like you can get married at the age of 13 or whatever. So it's like over that. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I
we're
mean.
safe.
Well, I
So
mean, yeah, I think
it's
I think
listen,
the general.
listen. It's not pedophilia as long as it's over the fantasy age of consent.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, pretty
that
much.
6
is true.
years
It
and
is
3
Of
medieval
the,
years.
times.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is
medieval
medieval
times.
times. Oh my god. Anyways, that look is neither here nor there, but again, this setup is slightly similar to something like you would say Grimoire of Zero or whatever. It's like again the young witch and then the other guy. So what I would say overall is first off, for the anime adaptation, the pacing itself is very strange. I don't know whether this is how much of this is like a straight truncations or straight adaptation plus or minus truncations from the light novel adaptation or light novel original itself. But half of the season seems to be about sort of the central pair's background and how they resolve their relationship. And then suddenly, boom, after that, it gets kind of resolved initially. It suddenly turns into more of a monster of the week sort of structure. But then you realize, wait a minute, there's not enough episodes to really meaningfully create a potential second climax and satisfying conclusion. So I don't know how they're going to pull it out, whether they're going to do a second season, what OVA, what they're going to do, but it's going to be a little bit weird, wonky for sure. Because I haven't, it's that sort of pacing and that sort of conclusion initially into sort of this more after story ish aspect is a little bit uncommon to me. As for the story itself, there's really not much to say. The themes and these sorts of like the way the interpersonal relationships all are set up deal out in a way that's I've seen this. You guys have seen this. The guys here with me in this podcast have seen hundreds, if not thousands, of times before. The immortal person, the immortal lover, has his or sad moments, right? Introspection, where she's thinking about everyone because everyone passes away while she lives on, stuff like that. So she's a sad
How many?
girl.
How old is she?
It says hundreds of years old or whatever.
Hundreds.
I
So
don't know.
oh,
It's
so that's
again,
anywhere
none of the
between
lore in
one,
this story is
anywhere
very
between
made.
100 and 900. How dare they?
I don't know. Um, but yeah, the main character is like endlessly kind to her because he's the nice dude, TM, right? Trademark, and that makes her
Wait,
fall solely
his name's
in
Oscar,
love with
right?
him. Yes, yes.
Prince
Uh,
Oscar Lyet in Kratos Los Farsas. What?
okay. Um, but yeah, it's eventually. Yeah, that like him being a nice dude eventually makes her fall in love with him. The villains of the week are either, they're either monsters or their motives are based off like elementary school level thematic writing based around discrimination and jealousy, etc. There's really like nothing unique in this series, and especially the romantic scenes in the story, and especially the buildup, right? Which is more important than the actual scene. Like you could have a romantic scene that's standard, just like kissing or whatever it is, right? But the buildup is obviously quite more important because it shows the motivations of the characters, right? And both the buildup and the scene itself are so like dull and trite that I was watching them and I just went, okay, I have to actually close my eyes for this scene. I just can't. I can't. Like, if I watch this scene, I'm going to fall asleep for the next like 48 hours. I I'm going to be the Sleeping Beauty right now. Like, if I watch this scene, because I can't. So I don't know. It's just there's not there's not much originality in this series. Um, yes, I understand that it was made in September 2012 or whatever it is, right? The original Naro K web novel. I implore, I urge the viewers of both this podcast and of anime viewers to recognize that there have been stories written about people living for many, many years amongst humans with fleeting
No,
lifespans
nope.
that have been.
This is the
I've read
first.
I apologize for my mistake.
name one.
But
Name a single one.
name a single story about a man living for a very long time. You can't. Um, but yeah, there's not much originality to this, and it's a little bit unfortunate because, uh, um, I think if I don't even know. I don't even like retrospectives at this point. Maybe I could excuse retrospectives if it was written maybe a little bit back then, but even then, it's just like I don't know. I think whenever you write something about a person who has lived for a long time and um sees all the fleeting lives of humans, you really have to write a character that gets away from the whole like I'm sad because my fifth husband died, and the other one which is like all these humans are like ants to me. You have to kind of get away from these two because it's just too much. You can't run this theme over and over and over again, and just it's just slop, right? And I think this series kind of falls into that same slop. So it is a little bit unfortunate. A lot of the lore is kind of fuzzed over, and even some of, like the mini arcs or like the episodes that kind of happen, like the backgrounds of certain characters and why they're doing this and why they appeared in this sort of illusion or dream or whatever, and why this thing concluded like this and why they're taking those sorts aside. Uh, especially in that one arc with bandits or whatever, is not very well explained, and it is overall very unfortunate. I think it's a little bit too bland and dull, and I think a lot of this is just a lot of the sales for this series kind of comes again from not okay readers and light novel readers accepting the slop. So I don't really have too much to say for this series. It is quite unoriginal, and I don't know.
So,
It's kind of whatever.
so what did they say about the curse, Spire? Because I'm looking at it right now. What
What do
is
you
the
mean?
curse?
The curse is literally just like if you have a baby with somebody, right? So it's like in this sort of part of this lore, again, it's not explained too well. It's like if you have intercourse, if you have sex with somebody, or if you, I guess, like I don't know whether you have full sex or whatever it is. If you have sex with somebody, um, you like fuck with their powers, like magical powers, or
Since his
magic is
curse
involved. Magical flow is involved in some way, right?
Since his
So
curse was more of a blessing that covered the fetus in a powerful shield, something a normal mother's body could never withstand, the solution was to find a woman who was strong. So, so they're
there
bas-
are
so they're
there
basically
are
trying to
many ways
overpower.
to,
They're trying to
yeah.
create a strong fetus that could overpower the shield. Is what they're saying.
Well, there are many ways the lore is construed
Why
within
is it
the
got to be a
story.
witch? Why not a dragon?
Well, I'm sure if he comes across a dragon girl,
Oh
he'll
yeah.
either do it, or it'll be, it'll be like that Dragon's fucking cars kind of thing, but with the Oscar instead.
Spire, don't you know
But
every dragon who is strong has a humanoid form for convenience.
that is true. That is an actual rule of isekai, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this series. What I will overall, I would not recommend the series again. I only watched it over Bartender of God because I couldn't bear watching Bartender Glass of God either. But what I would rate this series,
So hold on, why is it called Unnamed Memory?
Unnamed Memory.
Why
Yeah,
is
what's
it
the
called that?
Um,
memory?
Yeah.
I have
It's
What's
no
the
unnamed,
idea.
so
Yeah, who's unnamed?
Oh,
Is
that's
it the
true. We're
fetus?
not allowed to know because it can't.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
I have no idea. I would say I will give this series a 3.5. 3.5 out of uh yeah, 3.5 or 4 out of 10 because again, the still like character designs are stuff like that are okay, but everything else like audiovisually is mediocre. There are some hits from the poorly done sound directing or the voice acting direction. And the original story is just, it's dog poop. So I can't really say too much more about it.